Celebrated by legends like Ridley Scott, Martin Scorsese, and Steven Spielberg, David Lean is somehow both one of the greatest directors ever and criminally underappreciated. Here are 6 films that made David Lean the king of understated genius. David Lean didn't start his career at the top, far from it. As a young cinema enthusiast, he began at Gaumont Studios, fetching tea and clapping slates before clawing his way up to third assistant director. But Lean wasn't content to stay behind the scenes for long. Lean's directorial debut came in 1942 with In Which We Serve, a wartime drama co-directed with Noel Coward, who also wrote and starred in the film. The story unpacks the history of the British naval destroyer through the eyes of its surviving crew. While Lean's later films would wow audiences with iconic visuals, this one didn't. Still, it was the necessary first step on his journey from tea fetcher to filmmaking royalty. Based on the one-act play Still Life, Brief Encounter became one of Lean's greatest ever pictures, with the film following a woman who meets a mysterious stranger who tempts her to cheat on her husband. Starring Celia Johnson and Trevor Howard, the film won the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival, with the director picking up his very first Academy Award nomination for Best Director. Regarded as one of the best British films of all time, the story of Brief Encounter has since gone down as a staple of British culture. David Lean's mid-century career was a mixed bag of critical hits and financial stumbles. He tackled 2 Charles Dickens adaptations, Great Expectations in 1946 and Oliver Twist in 1948, both of which were well received but not exactly career-defining. Lean's true international breakthrough came in 1957 with The Bridge on the River Kwai, a World War II epic about British and American soldiers enduring life in a Japanese POW camp. Starring the likes of William Holden and Alec Guinness, the film became the highest-grossing movie of 1957 in the United States and won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor for Guinness. After a run of unremarkable films in the 1940s and 1950s, The Bridge on the River Kwai kick-started a jaw-dropping trilogy of war epics that cemented David Lean's legacy. The second film in this unofficial collection, Lawrence of Arabia, didn't just build on that success, it obliterated it. Starring Peter O'Toole as T.E. Lawrence, the 1962 masterpiece chronicles an English officer's efforts to unite Arab tribes against the Turks during the First World War. Hailed as one of the greatest films ever made, it remains a staple on best-of lists for directors and actors alike. The Academy couldn't get enough either, showering the film with Oscars for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Cinematography, and several other categories. David Lean's particularly incredible run ended in 1965 with Dr. Zhivago, a romance set during World War I and the Russian Revolution. The film follows a Russian physician and poet who falls for a political activist's wife while enduring the chaos of war and revolution. Adapted from Boris Pasternak's novel, it's widely regarded as one of the best literary adaptations ever made. The film won 5 Oscars, including Best Adapted Screenplay, though Lean missed out on his 3rd Best Director win. Not that it mattered. The film crushed at the box office and solidified Lean as a legend. After releasing Ryan's Daughter in 1970 to a somewhat favorable reception, David Lean took a significant break from filmmaking, unhappy with how the film turned out. He spent this time traveling the world in search of inspiration for a new project, which came 14 years later in the form of A Passage to India, his final film and one of the very best of his career. The 1984 film dives into the cultural mistrust between an English woman, an educator, and an Indian doctor in British colonial India. Lean not only directed but also edited the project, recapturing the magic of his earlier war epics.